everyone, welcome to our UX Meets Music webinar with Digital Influx. So when I was thinking about today, I was thinking over a quote that I read a while back. It says, "We spend a lot of time designing the bridge and not enough time thinking about the people crossing it." I think that really explains how important UX design is in the world that we live in today. So my name is Sara, and I'm a UX UI designer at Digital Influx. I think I couldn't have found a better company that encapsulates everything that I care about. So obviously I'm really passionate about UX. I'm also a professional singer, and I'm a mom to the most beautiful 4-year-old. So finding a company that has such a unique perspective and brings all of these things together has been absolutely amazing. I think Digital Influx has a very unique perspective to the world that we live in. To put children at the forefront of design would not only help them be really amazing UX UI designers if they choose to be later, but it also means that they grow up confident, they grow up analyzing the products that they're exposed to, the information that they get around the world, and it helps them to be really empathetic to each other. And I think that's exactly what we need. So to celebrate the launch of our global design community, we're kicking off in one of the most innovative, exciting places we can think of, which is Japan. So thank you all for being with us today. I wanted to kind of just talk about the connection between UX and music, because I think at first glance, many people think they're very different fields. But being fortunate enough to be active in both fields, I see a lot of similarities between the two. Things like empathy, creativity, collaboration, self-expression. I feel like my tools change, but I kind of do exactly the same thing in different fields. So for example, if I'm writing lyrics for new mums and just trying to connect with them and their struggles and what they go through sonically, I can then just log onto a tool like Figma and design an app that helps mums like maybe record the feeding times for the baby or just something useful that helps them with those new struggles. So there really isn't much of a difference between music and UX in the way that it puts the user and their solution that they need first. So to talk a little bit about music, COVID-19 has been really difficult for creatives all around the world, including musicians. Being a live artist myself, I've had many big gigs cancelled in the last 6 months. I think it's really difficult to connect sometimes through technology if you don't have the right creatives around you. So for example, my album launched this month. I had a big listening party with A&R and fans and everyone who could just connect with me and listen to the story behind the song. I can't do that event now, so I've had to jump on a digital platform to help me communicate with my listeners in a different way. So I think right now we're being fed so much about COVID-19 affecting us all globally and the new normal being filled with anxiety and depression in young people. But I don't feel like it needs to be that way. And it's more important than ever for creatives to come together globally, break those boundaries and help it to be a much better environment for our youth to grow up in. So let me introduce you to the speakers we're going to have today. You're going to hear from Suj, which is our co-founder and CEO. You would hear from Akil, which is our co-founder. And you would hear from Belinda, which is our teacher and EdTech consultant. And let me introduce you to some artists that will be performing for you today. So you're going to hear from Brooke, Odysi, Neela, and they will be providing a sonically amazing experience for us today. So I'm looking forward to you guys just being able to listen to them today. So let me introduce you to Suj, who's going to take over now, our co-founder and CEO of Digital Influx.
My name is Suj. I'm CEO here at Digital Influx. We have been going since December 2018 with a goal to recreate education that's focused on the digital world, specifically around UX. So we started this company mainly because of how we have defined where the future is going. So when you're a kid and you're watching movies like Back to the Future or the Avengers or Star Trek, we've all got this impression in our minds that we're supposed to be reaching for the stars, right? We should go flying cars, we should have robotic suits. But the reality of the situation is that we're in a pandemic. The recession at the moment is one of the deepest that we faced, and there's a turmoil all across the world. And what we feel is important is to focus education around empathy so we can understand each other and grow both technologically and socially. The goal is to create a global design community. So if we're able to teach UX to children in London and they can work on projects for green energy, let's say, can they share those projects to children in India or the UK or Japan or Sweden or the US? We want to create innovation quicker. So when we were all at school, we learned things that were academically driven, whether that's maths or science or history or economics. But how much of that do we actually hold on to everyday life? What's actually transparent enough for us to carry on for the rest of our lives? We feel that we're not in the age that we should be in, and that's because of the evolution of education. We're not changing quick enough. So UX, essentially, in terms of what we're doing, is focusing on empathy, creativity, problem solving, and conflict resolution. UX is everywhere. So every digital product that you use has been tailored around a user experience so that you use that product more, you recommend it to other people, and functionally it becomes part of your life. Whether that's a mobile phone or a games console or an interface within your car, it's all connected around the user. And the picture on your right kind of demonstrates UX failing, right? So the design for this cat food holder looks creative, but the reality is they haven't developed it around the user. The answer, for those of you who don't know, just basically separate the bowls. That is better UX. The importance of teaching empathy is the key part that we're trying to focus on. So we lose empathy the older we get. As kids, we understand what it is. It develops within us. It's a natural thing. But after a while, we become less empathetic, and we want to ingrain that in children now. We also feel that this, well, not feel, we've done research to analyze that this does work. If you focus on empathy at a young age, you can use it to prevent things like cyberbullying or actual bullying, and it works on bringing back those social connections. So one example that we've used to teach children empathy is an example using a swing set and a wheelchair. But how do you teach a child empathy? So the example that we went for was we showed a child a swing set and we asked them to describe the emotions that they felt when they went on there. So they all clicked on notes like happy, excited, ecstatic. And then we presented them an image of a child in a wheelchair, and we said to them, how did they feel that the child in the wheelchair couldn't use a swing? And they pretty much quickly understood the basics of empathy from that. We then implemented design thinking to show them wheelchair access for swings, and we started developing their creative thought process from that. There's immediate impacts from this and there's long-term results. So the immediate impacts is developing creative thinking. They think about problem solving, conflict resolution through research, and building emotional intelligence. The long-term effects of this is further employment opportunities, because UX is one of the fastest growing industries in the world at the moment, aids in economic growth. It also creates cross-functional learning. So design thinking essentially can be used for engineering, for maths, for psychology. Is essentially rewiring the way you think and ultimately aids in creating a better future for society. The goal here is to create innovators at a younger age. So these three children that you see in front of you have all set up their own businesses. We want children to know that you don't have to wait until the education process is over. You finish university, you do your placement, and then you get a job. You can innovate with others now. And the reason for that is because of the situation that we're in at the moment. We are in a deep recession and an economic downward spiral right now. We've got a 5-year plan to kickstart economic growth by retraining the way children think around digital products and services. The research that we've been doing has happened in India, the UK, and the US, and now in Japan. And essentially what we found out is it works. Right now, we are working with our colleague in Texas, Belinda, who you met in a little while. We have introduced UX for children aged between the ages of 8 to 11, but we will be moving on to teenagers. So they'll have an easy transition from, let's say, primary school to secondary school. As well as that, the other courses that we'll be teaching were VR design, 2D, 3D design, UI design, human-centered design, game design, and product design. All of this is focused on creating innovation and disruptive technology. We want people, and children in particular, to start innovating now. We've got problems that are happening that we did not predict in the past, and we need a different way of thinking to elevate the planet.
Neon signs flash past my eyes. There's no escape and there's nowhere to hide from where I'm going. There'll be no more lights. On an empty highway, the lights race by like beating stars. The ones dance bright, we're together again. There's one last time. So take my hand and hold on tight. No, don't let go. No, not tonight. It's driving me crazy. How you drive me wild. In times like this, I don't want to die. In one hot minute, one hot minute, I'll give you one hot minute before I'm gone. Flashing lights and speeding cars on a road to nowhere, going fast, ready to go and a ticket to ride. Got a one-track mind with you by my side. We danced all night, hold on tight. Our bodies pushed close under UV lights. Pulses strong, beat right. Don't let go, I need you tonight. So take my hand and hold on tight. No, don't let go. No, not tonight. And it's driving me crazy. How you drive me wild. In times like this, I don't want to die. In one hot minute, one hot minute, I'll give you one hot minute before I'm gone, 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 gone. So take my hand and you hold on tight. No, don't let go. No, not tonight. It's driving me crazy. How you drive me wild. In times like this, I don't want to die. In one hot minute, one hot minute, just give me one hot minute before I'm gone, 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 gone.
Hi, I'm Neela. Thank you for tuning in and listening to my latest single, Gone. I'm going to be releasing that end of November, but if you want to check me out before then, you can find me on Instagram, Neela_music, or SoundCloud, Neela Germain, links attached.
So yeah, I'm the co-founder of Digital Influx. Suj and I started this whole project together from the get-go from 2018, and we've come a long way to where we are now. He's explained, UX and the course that we're building, so I'm just going to go into a bit more detail from the other side of things. So one of the things that he's mentioned is UX research that we've done. So like everything within UX, you have to do research in order to understand the product. Now, we've done our research and we found out that there's 5 key components to build this course. The first one is to reduce the amount of new information. Now, children are learning from home in their own house and they're distracted by a number of different things. So we've got to make sure that the content that we're providing is minimal and is easy for them to understand. One way to do that is by providing real life examples. So UX is a new topic, not only for children, but for a lot of adults as well. It's still quite a new industry for a lot of people. So having relevant examples helps them really understand what we're talking about. So for example, the wheelchair user, that's key for children to understand and relate to as well. The third thing is gamification. So our education system is sort of like memorize and then you do a test, but we want to sort of revolutionize that. So we are doing testing in the form of games as well now. So instead of sitting there and you've got your pen and paper writing stuff down, you're playing a game and it's something that they're used to and it's something that they find fun, which means that they listen more and they interact more. Ensuring reinforcement. So at that age, attention span isn't, the best. So we've got to make sure that we are always reinforcing what they're learning. We're going through the lesson with them. We're repeating what we're saying just so that they fully understand. And also, lastly, providing a vocab checklist during each lesson. Now, the key part about this is that there's a lot of new words within UX. Character development. So we have got characters within our product. So we don't want the child to sort of feel alone in this new digital world that they're going to be learning from. Although you have a teacher, sometimes this type of content is new to the teacher as well. So we want them to have some sort of comfort within what they're doing. So we've got this character over here. The name's Shiloh. So Shiloh will be going on this UX adventure with you. So she's in the games, going through all the content slides, and it's sort of your guide to help you throughout the lesson. If you feel stuck, you can use Shiloh to help you. With that, we've got Tio, who's the body of light. Now, this is like when you play a game and you always get a little hint, that's who Tio is there to give you hints throughout the game. And then we've got Hoop, who's the owl, and this is a bit like the sidekick character, sort of, help you throughout your journey and help you throughout the games and the course content as well. With that, I'll give you a quick example of one of the games that we've got. So this is a game that's on right now, and it's for user journeys. So for those of you that don't know, user journey is sort of like getting a product and finding out how the user goes from part A to part B. What are the different ways that they get from logging onto the website to, let's say, purchasing a product? What steps do they have to take? What's the easiest route for them? Now, this is one of the games that we've got, but in total, there's a number of 4 games. If you were to go into our website, which is www.digitalinflux.com, the first lesson is free. And within the first lesson, there's a free game as well to play, which is the empathy game. So you can kind of check that out as well.
I've been drowning ever since, and I lost my love. I've loved and lost to find myself. I cut you off. I lost my love. I've loved and I've lost to find myself. I had to cut you off, and you were heaven made. Turn the lemons into lemonade.
the pain. I'm about to detonate. Pipe dreams, got a nigga feeling drained. Yeah, they've been telling me a change. Tell them that I died and I rose from the flames. Now I've been through them sagas. Voices say I should've tried harder. Could've been a better man than my father. Losing you, that was my karma. And this day will never end. No, and my future came and went so slow, so slowly. And this boat will never end. So I go waved and I've been drowning ever since. And I lost my love. I've loved and lost to find myself. I cut you off. I lost my love. I've loved and I've lost to find myself. I had to cut you off. Ooh, ooh, oh yeah. It hurt me in ways you would never know. I loved you so much, I had to let you go. Ooh,
Hey guys, thanks for listening to my song, Loved and Lost. It's out on all available platforms. You can catch me on my website as well. That's theodyssey.com, theodysi.com. And also catch me on Instagram, Odyssey World, that's Odysi World.
Hi, my name is Belinda Medellin, and I am an educational technology consultant for Digital Influx. I was a Texas high school teacher for over 12 years who used technology as a tool in the classroom. So my role is to make sure that the UX courses use the most effective teaching practices and methods to meet the learning needs of individual students. Now, to understand what those needs are, I want to share with you what the world of education is facing right now. For so long, the model of teaching in many countries that came about during the Industrial Revolution was a one-size-fits-all public education model to meet the demands to produce factory workers who can follow directions and work at least for 8 hours doing menial tasks to basically be a cog. This was achieved with focusing on compliance and getting rid of individuality and creativity. There were some changes and variations to this model all over the world, but it wasn't until the 21st century when technology and education started to gain momentum, with forward-thinking educators who pushed innovative concepts such as STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEAM, which adds the arts element, and now SEL, social emotional learning, and so on. Education was on the precipice of preparing not only learners for the careers of today and the future, but innovative and critical thinkers for our society. As I delved more into learning about UX, I quickly saw the connection to how those skills can develop educators to do just that. And although we are facing the unfortunate pandemic, it has forced educators all over the world to finally embrace the technology that is part of our society and be able to teach kids to use it for good. Now, I'd like to share a bit about my journey into UX and to digital influx. I grew up near Chicago, Illinois, and I was always a creative person who was very team-oriented. That led me to be a collegiate softball player, and I studied musical theater in downtown Chicago. I had dreams of being on Broadway like every other musical theater student, but the winding path led me to be a photographer in the US Navy. I worked in corporate America and eventually teaching high school digital media, theater, speech and debate, graphic design, and animation classes in Texas. With a focus to help kids see every opportunity possible for them, I tried my best to listen to them. And it was during a career project where one of my students asked me what a UX designer was. I had no clue, but I told him I would research it, and I was blown away. I thought, this is what I should be teaching. This is what every school should be teaching. It combined creativity with the team concept, which is what I loved, and then it had its foundation in empathy, which is what our global society needs. So with the help of professional UX designers from top companies in the area, Jungle Disc, USAA, and Rackspace, I was able to create 2 high school courses and get them approved by the Texas Education Agency. What that means is any high school in the state of Texas can now teach these courses, and students will get high school credit required for graduation. I was fortunate enough to be recognized for my work, and I was awarded the 2019 San Antonio Independent School District Secondary Teacher of the Year, and then the 2020 Texas Secondary Teacher of the Year for Region 20 title. I wanted to impact even more students, and I made the difficult decision to leave teaching in the classroom in June. I started sharing my story on social media in hopes of helping schools realize that this is what they need to be teaching now. And I had heard Suj speak on a podcast called The UX of EdTech and reached out to him because I was absolutely floored. I hadn't found anyone else who had the same exact vision in the US as I did. There were teachers who were interested in putting UX in classrooms, but no one was creating courses like we did in Texas. And here was someone in London across the pond trying to do the same, but for all kids all over the world. So we joined forces, and I am helping the amazing team at Digital Influx use the standards I wrote for the courses in Texas as a guide to make the UX Kids course even better, and for creating the follow-up UX for Teens course. So this course is what kids need to learn in 2020 and beyond. And Digital Influx is the forward-minded EdTech company who is passionate and positioned perfectly to do just that.
My name is Brooke Law, and I'm going to do a song I wrote called Hunger.
You say I don't need this constant number game. I can't minus thinking, oh God, I'm gone again. Sorry, I'm ungrateful. Waste not one no more. Messing up the table. It sucks, we don't get on. It's like something's missing, not just a ringing. What do you hunger for? What do you hunger for? Oh, what's your sickness? That ain't your weakness. What do you hunger for? What do you hunger for? Hunger, addicted to a feeling, hooked on some routine. Could change what I've been reading. What you know is too easy. Thought something's missing, not just a ringing. What do you hunger for? What do you hunger for? Oh, what's your sickness? That ain't your weakness. What do you hunger for? What do you hunger for? Hunger. Maybe I'm self-obsessed.
My name is Brooke Law, and well, thank you for watching my song. My website is www.brookelaw.co.uk, and I'm going to be releasing a Christmas song on 13th of November for Crisis to raise awareness for homelessness.